And I'll tell you the secret. Every customer subconscious mind triggers when they see an expert. So you have to build your marketing to such an extent that you attain the expert position. You should be seen as a subject matter expert. And that's where marketing can help you attain that position. And the moment you become an expert, you will make your competition irrelevant.
Aqsit is an online marketplace for interior designers to search for products, create mood boards, and order free samples of them. Today, we have Jackson Robin, who is a coach in marketing and sales, have personally trained over 100 CEOs and business owners, and he'll be discussing a few ideas in marketing for interior design industry. Welcome to the podcast, Jackson.
Thank you so much, Hakim, for doing this. I'm very glad that I'm a part of this podcast with you.
Great. So, Jackson, let's start this by understanding how would an interior designer use marketing?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Hatim. In my professional career of over 12 years now, I have met a lot of designers and architects. And one of the most common things that I have seen in all of them is they focus more on the creative part of the business and not on the marketing part of the business. So from your platform, I would really talk to those people who don't take marketing very seriously.
Right.
I have seen great designers, great architects who are amazing in their core competency. But the challenge lies in attracting customers for their awesome services. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So I think if you look at the macro level, the bigger problem lies in the willingness to market. Yeah. So I have seen designers, I have seen architects who are really concerned about the quality of the service that they offer, the creative angle to the business. What they have to understand is very simple, that the clients will come, the customers will come, the sales will happen. What remains in the top priority is the ability to market. Having said that, having understood the need to market, one has to understand what is the right objective of marketing. So in my view, marketing can have only two objectives. Mm-hmm. One, you need to build your brand over a long term. Mm-hmm. And the second one is to create leads consistently.
Right.
Now, all these designers and architects, the ones who are not doing so good, okay, focus on marketing, but not with a constructive approach, which means that they go with the wave. They pick a marketing medium, they pick a marketing strategy based on what others are doing it. I think it's very imperative that you pick a marketing strategy which should either which should either help you build a brand over a long term, or else help you generate leads consistently. Yeah. So this is the overall marketing, picture that the designer should basically have. And then after having understood the real objective, then comes the marketing system, the marketing method, the marketing strategy. So, for example, I will not refer, or I will not tell you that digital marketing is the right platform for you, because I don't know your objective. Mm-hmm. I have to know your objective, and then you have to pick a marketing strategy based on your objective.
Understood. So in a creative professional industry like interior design, a lot of time and pain is gone into operations. So they are unlike other businesses that work 9 to 5, which is good. But how do we still make marketing a priority?
So if you are somebody who's spending more time in operations, then I think you don't have a team in place, right? You don't have multiple hands working on your business, and that's not right. So there is nothing right or wrong about a team. The whole thing is, if you work for 8 hours in a day, what percentage of time do you allocate towards marketing, and what percentage of time do you allocate towards operations? So what you can ideally do is that you can break your business in two parts. The part one of business is the front end, and the part two of business back end. I think most business owners, including designers and architects, focus mainly on the back end, right? The operations part of it. That's important. But what will you do in the back end if the front end is not yielding customers for you? This is a major issue. So while you get a project, you spend the entire time on the project, and while you're spending time on the project, you're not spending more time to acquire a new project, and that's where the challenge lies. So if you work for 8 hours, 10 hours in a day, You need to dedicate few hours only to source customers, to acquire customers and clients, and the remaining part of the day can be utilized to handle the customer. If you are working as a standalone entrepreneur, if you are not standalone, you have a team in place or you have somebody else supporting you, then you can distribute the responsibility according to it, right? So if the designer or the architect feels that they're in the business of designing an architecture, that is wrong. They are in the business of marketing, designing and marketing architecture. That has to be the real mindset of an entrepreneur. Yeah. So if you split the day in three parts, part one towards marketing and acquiring customers, part two is operations, solving queries, handling the project, and part three is the most important part once again, where you have to ensure that the project gives you more projects. So your job as an entrepreneur in your industry is not to just create customers. Your job is to create customers that can create more and more customers. So you acquire a project, you do well in that project, and then you do so well in that project that you get more and more projects through that particular project. So that's where the entire concept of customer journey comes in the picture.
So can we now understand the customer journey for a client? I mean, what is at the top of the funnel and how do I get the customer lifetime value?
So, if you are a designer or an architect, you have to understand that the job does not end with sales. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now a typical customer journey starts with getting a customer to completing the project, getting paid, and then the deal is over. I think this is what most broke designers and entrepreneurs and architects think. The ones who are really successful, they extend the journey further. So let's say your journey starts with creating a lead for your business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then you create a lead. The second comes in, you meet the customer, you create touch points, you eventually sell your service. Okay, you sell your service, the deal is done, and the customer is happy with your services. The next step is creating that customer or client a fan. If you don't create fans, you will not be able to create a legacy, right? So let's say if I'm a designer and if I've done your work and if you're very happy, I have to ask a testimonial. I have to ask something that I can use to market to get more and more customers. If I don't create fans, I will forever be creating customers, and customers will always have options. But when you create fans are loyal. Okay, so they will always like what you do. So the moment you sell, the journey extends further into creating a fan. The moment the person is a fan of your work, you have to again start selling in the form of upselling and downselling. And this is the most important part, Hardik. Your job does not end with selling. Your job starts with selling. So okay. Now you may ask me, why people don't upsell? The simple answer is people don't upsell because they don't have second and third line of services. They just have one thing to sell. They sell and they think that the job is done. No, you have to create multiple lines of products and services. You take many examples. You go to CCD or you go to Starbucks. You go for a coffee, but you end up buying other stuff also, right? You buy a mobile phone, you end up buying accessories. This is a way of upselling so that the customer keeps on buying from you, right? So let's say you create a fan, you do a great project. You need to have second and third line of services which you can upsell. So you keep upselling till he stops buying. As an entrepreneur, as a designer, architect, you don't have to keep on investing in marketing to source a customer. You just have to pay once to get a customer, let's say through lead generation activities. What you need to focus is the customer lifetime value, which means, let's say, when you audit your balance sheets after 1 year, you are not successful if you have created more customers. You are successful if you are able to sell to the same customer again and again and again. Either you sell your same line of products and services, or else you create referrals. You sell through that customer, which means that you don't have to necessarily always pay to acquire a customer. That's how the entire customer lifetime value comes in the picture. And the companies, the designers, architects who focus on customer lifetime value are the ones who make a lot of money. And the ones who don't do this, they keep investing, they keep burning their money in marketing and advertising.
I mean, yes, upselling and cross-selling needs to be absolutely done in any business. since it comes with minimal additional marketing cost. So in interior design, you don't always need to have your own products. You can always have a great network, and once you're done with your main service, that is designing the space, you need to be in absolute touch with your client, and the next time he requires any product, you're always selling.
Yeah. You know what, Adam, in India, especially in the services sector, uh, or maybe in B2B services, people don't upsell or cross-sell not because they don't want to upsell or cross-sell. They don't upsell or cross-sell because they don't know that they need to have more and more lines of products and services. It's not a skill issue. It's a clarity issue. And I'll tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
every business can have upsell, cross-sell, or downsell opportunity.
Of course.
Either it could be tangible or intangible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's take a real example. Let's say I want to redo my office,
Right.
and I get a designer or architect who will do the entire thing for me. Now my job is done, right? Maybe I don't have multiple offices, but can you offer me consultation plans?
Mm-hmm.
Can you offer me maintenance plans? Can you refer me to another products and services from which you can make money? So you'll always have options through which you can upsell and cross-sell. The problem is we don't focus on that.
Any business is a long term thing. I mean, there'll obviously be more and more demand being created with that time. It's never going to end.
They're going to end. And you don't have to necessarily always sell the same line of products and services in upsell and cross-sell. You could have anything that complements your main products.
So, how important networking is in the whole process?
Networking really means that you have to participate in more and more opportunities where you will meet people who are decision makers,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which means that how much time and money you spend in your training, how many seminars you attend, how many conferences you attend, right? So that is the real power of networking. It is not just going to a normal networking meeting. By networking, I mean, where do you go to eat? Where do you go to have your coffee? Where do you go to have your new hairstyle? Right? Networking is the place where you go most often where you will get people like you, where you get people who coexist and the ones that are like you. That is the real power of networking. Right? So I have seen designers and architects who are really busy in their projects that they don't spend time in attending seminars or conferences. I think that's suicidal. If you don't meet somebody who is like you or decision maker every day, you're not growing your business. Your business is on a ventilator if you don't meet people who are like you every day.
So, Jackson, a lot of creative professionals in this industry use social media platforms to show their work. So, can you elaborate what is the right way of using a digital platform, and also should they be investing in advertising or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, I'll go back to what I said when we started the podcast. What is the objective? Do you want to build your brand or you want to create leads? So every marketing system or every marketing method that you have revolves around these two questions. Let's say I want to do a TV ad.
Mm-hmm.
A TV ad is a brand building activity. It can't give me leads consistently. A newspaper ad is a brand building activity. Similarly, social media can be used for both objectives. If you want to really build your brand over a long term, you can use content marketing. You can create amazing content and you can really impress your target audience by creating blogs, videos, podcasts, anything that showcases your thought leadership capabilities. On the other hand, if your objective is to create leads through social media, you have to start doing digital campaigns for lead generation only.
Got it.
So I always tell my clients, if you don't have one new lead every day, you're not marketing. If you don't send one email every day, you're not marketing. It just can't be one-time affair. So both are important. Both your brand building is important and creating leads is equally important. But you have to understand the objective and the priority. And the most important thing, do you have that much money to take care of it? If you're working on a minuscule budget, then of course I will ask you to go for the digital means. But if you have got budgets, you have to really go out and express and show the world that you're an expert. And attaining an expert position is where marketing comes in. So let's say I'll give you an example. Let's say you just bought a house, a 5 BHK house, and you're finding a designer for it. There are certain things that you look in the design, right? It is not just about the pricing. It is not just about the creativity. There are certain things that you look at while choosing the right designer or the architect for you. And I'll tell you the secret. Every customer's subconscious mind triggers when they see an expert. So you have to build your marketing to such an extent that you attain the expert position. You should be seen as a subject matter expert. And that's where marketing can help you attain that position. And the moment you become an expert, you will make your competition irrelevant. Yeah. So that's the answer that I have for you when you speak about using social media and digital campaigns. Yeah. So build your brand, use content, heavy content. If you want to create leads, just go all out on lead generation capabilities which you have under social media platforms, mainly Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn.
Got it.
Yeah, but don't stop marketing and advertising. It's really important. Dan Kennedy, one of my favorite marketers, he always said that at the end of the day, the person who is able to pay the most to acquire a customer will win the game. One more great guy, Henry Ford. He said that a man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops the clock to save time. So it's very important that you take marketing very seriously, because see, while doing projects, you may fail, you may falter, you may not be able to meet the expectations. And do a 100% job in a startup. So what will remain consistent is your ability to have more and more prospects willing to buy your products or services. That's why my advice to all the startups, right? Run campaigns.
Understood. So this was great, Jackson. It was amazing to have you on this podcast. It was very informative, and I'm sure the viewers would have gained something extra out of this today. I wish you a lot of success in your ongoing training programs. And also for the listeners, Jackson's profile is in the caption. He has a website named jacksonrobin.com where you can find a lot more information about his personal training and public training programs that he does for people wanting to understand marketing in detail. His LinkedIn ID is Jackson Connection. He's also an upcoming author with his book Market or Perish, releasing on Amazon post lockdown, which I'm sure will contain a lot of valuable information on marketing. I'm personally looking forward for this one. So, thank you so much for your time on this thing, Jackson.
Thank you so much, Hatim, and I wish you all the success with Aqsit.com. I have personally worked with you, and I know how passionate you are about your work and about your brand. So I wish you loads of success, and I'm sure you'll keep doing a great job, not only for yourself, but for the community as a whole. Thank you so much once again, Hatim, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Also, do share this audio to your community of friends and designers. And thank you everyone for listening to this. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.